In the WWE, contracts are sort of kept secret to a certain extent. In other sports, such as the NFL, NBA, MLB, and others, all of the contract details often turn out to be public information. You'll hear that this player just signed a $100 million contract for 5 years, and another player signed a $10 million contract. All of the contact information always comes out about those players' deals. But in the WWE, the contracts are kept more confidential, and especially since the WWE superstars are considered independent contractors, not much info is ever released about their contracts. Just recently though, the WWE has started to announce when a superstar signs a new contract extension. This is something that we never really heard about in years past, but it's starting to become a regular thing now. Randy Orton, whose contract was set to expire in early 2020, was able to reach an agreement with the WWE for a multi-year extension, and the WWE released the information on the signing to the public. The WWE also announced more contract extensions on WWE Backstage, where they announced that both Paige and The Miz had signed new contracts. But another thing that is also missing is the amount of money in the contract. That information also isn't released, and we just have to go by rumors and estimates on how much a superstar is getting paid. For example, the lower card superstars will probably be paid well under $100,000, while the mid-card superstars will be paid somewhere above that $100K mark. Then you have your top-tier superstars, such as Brock Lesnar, who's estimated to make multiple millions of dollars a year in the WWE. This all brings us to one top-tier superstar's contract that is extremely close to expiring. This superstar is obviously Becky Lynch. The WWE has been locking down a lot of superstars to multi-year extensions, but one superstar that remains in a limbo state is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch's popularity has been at an all-time high over the past few years. From winning multiple titles, to becoming a fan favorite, to main eventing WrestleMania, it's safe to assume that Becky Lynch has inserted herself into that top-tier class of superstars. However, throughout all of that success, Becky has not signed any extension at all in recent years. She's still working on a very old contract, and it's set to be expiring in the very near future. Now, once again, information on the WWE contracts are not public information, so no one has an exact end date of Becky's current contract, but the overall belief is that it could be sometime in 2020. Now, reports back in mid-2019 claimed that Becky was offered a new contract extension, but for whatever reason, nothing was officially agreed on. Now, Becky has started to comment quite often on her contract status, but let it be noted that it seems Becky is also using her contract status in her storyline and character as well. A perfect example of this being done in the past was with 2011 CM Punk. Punk's contract was set to legitimately expire in the summer of 2011, and there was a point where Punk actually had no intention to resign with the company. But he did end up signing a new contract, and the WWE used his expiring contract status as a storyline during his feud with John Cena. It also made for quite the shocking return when he came back to Raw a few years later. So, could a story like this be on the way for Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch took to Twitter once again, commenting on her contract status, and had this to say. "It's amazing what they'll give you when you remind them your contract is coming up soon." More to say on Raw. Becky then appeared on Raw, and it seemed the thing that the WWE was giving her was the title match at the Royal Rumble. So, story-wise, we're led to believe that Becky threatened the WWE with her contract status, and they gave in and granted her the match that she wanted at the Royal Rumble. So, all that is for storyline purposes only, but the interesting part is that Becky's contract status is actually a legitimate issue right now. A report then broke out that Becky is currently competing on a $1 million yearly contract. However, that rumor made it back to Becky Lynch, and she denied it and had this to say on Twitter. Report not true. Haven't signed anything new in years. Deal coming up soon. So, there's a lot to take in from that one tweet from Becky. First thing to notice is that she confirms she hasn't signed anything new in years. Which means throughout her whole historic title run and WrestleMania match, she still didn't sign any extensions. Then, the second part of the tweet says, deal coming up soon, which once again reinforces the idea that her contract is legitimately closing in on the end. Now, do we have to worry about Becky Lynch leaving the WWE? I wouldn't say so. Becky Lynch is one of the WWE's most prized positions right now, and they wouldn't let her walk out of the company at all. It's extremely safe to assume that the WWE will give her anything she wants, plus more, when it's finally time to sign this new contract. So be on the lookout for any news regarding Becky Lynch finally signing a contract extension. We'll also have to keep an eye out to see if the WWE will continue to use her contract status in the storyline as well. What are your thoughts on this situation with Becky Lynch? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.